This is 142.2, The Kingdom.
And once again, the Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection. You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're gonna have to deal with the Kansas City Chiefs.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome to another episode of 142.2 The Kingdom, powered by you guys. We are live via X, via YouTube at youtube.com/142_2 The Kingdom. I'm Dominic. This is Rich. We got a lot to talk about, but honestly, at the same time, not really a lot to talk about because on Monday Night Football, the Chiefs, your Kansas City Chiefs, again, got the job done. Nice win on Monday night, 28-7 against the Washington Commanders. And we're also going to be previewing the game this Sunday in Orchard Park against the Buffalo Bills. Rich, how you doing?
Well, pretty good. 5 out of the last 6. My superstition of not wearing Chiefs gear on game day has got me to 5-1 on the year so far. So gotta keep that going, I guess. But things got a little shaky there in the first half, but second half adjustments reigned supreme. So, not really much else to say after that. I mean, it really was a tale of two halves, if I'm being honest with you.
100%. It was very interesting because the first two possessions ended up in interceptions for the Chiefs, but the defense was able to get a turnover off of a Deebo Samuel missed catch and then popped up catch and a turnover on downs. So it ended up being okay, but it was really shaky at first. The defense was kind of giving up a lot of chunk plays to the Commanders. Just a lot was happening all at once, but once that second half kicked in and Mahomes and Andy Reid dialing it up, Travis Kelce having his best game of the year, and now Travis Kelce is second out of all tight ends in terms of receiving yards, and everything is right with the world. The Chiefs are 5-3. The ref talk is there. The cheating talk is there. Travis Kelce's turning the page. Mahomes is playing at an MVP level and still is the odds favorite from Vegas to win the MVP. And we're about to go face a quote-unquote rival in Buffalo this Sunday. So it seems like we're back to normalcy in the NFL, personally.
Yeah, sure seems that way, at least on our front. I mean, you would think it's 2007 again with the Patriots, the Colts, and the Broncos leading the way in the standings. But other than that, pretty much standard operating procedures at this point. Really, the first half, not really much to say on that point. The Commanders were playing inspired defense. The offensive line was kind of shaky the first couple of drives, but again, you kind of expected that. Two new offensive linemen on that line. Jalen Moore's third game playing, but obviously he's the swing tackle. He's not the normal left tackle we'd have out there. No Trey Smith. Mike Caliendo had to come in for all of that game. So even though they were missing their top 3 pass rushers, still had enough to get Mahomes kind of off his game for most of that first half. But once they came out of halftime, settled down, reestablished the run game, which was probably the best it's looked all year to that point. Kind of settled everything down. They were finding the holes in their zone defense, and 3 touchdown drives on 3 straight possessions in the second half. So really good from them. Once they come out of halftime, the defense for the second week in a row has looked, quite frankly, dominant. Only 7 points given up. They've given up a total of 13, I think, in their last 3 games. So they've definitely turned a page there. Just looking they're looking like themselves. They're looking like the team that everybody's expected them to. And now that we're getting up to the trade deadline, it's now time to see what we can potentially add to make sure that this operation keeps rolling for the rest of the season.
What's up, Trizzy? What do you think about the game?
What's up, everybody? How we feeling?
Feeling great.
Great, feeling good.
3 in a row, baby.
What up, KC? But I mean, I really like the direction the team is going in. I kind of seen it earlier on though. I knew that we'll be able to do what this team has just historically done, and that's not necessarily turn the corner, but they pivot at the right times. I think having a leader like Patrick Mahomes, guys like Travis Kelsey, Chris Jones in their locker room has enabled them to be amongst leaders, and seeing guys continue to grow the organization, guys that were drafted before them or old heads who were successful before them. And now those guys get the opportunity to kind of pour that back into all the guys that come along Chiefs Kingdom. And I think that's how you build that culture, right? So having guys out, obviously you got a piece by piece. Josh Simmons dealing with his personal issues, and we had Trey Smith go down, and just a lot of stuff can happen in football. It's like I say, it's hills and valleys. And once you deal with those hills and valleys, I think those guys are just battle tested. They've been in so many situations throughout their careers, especially on this way and this path that we've been going down now. So I think just having the continuity back, having the same guys that you were sweating with up in spring, where up in St. Joe, getting it in up there and having a full team there and having the guys and getting your feel. There's no doubt about what Patrick Mahomes has done as a player, but I think his leadership, I think the way that he just goes into each game and he goes into each possession, and the way that he talks and mimics himself as not only just a player, but having a leader like that, is the transcendent difference between, the franchises that we play. And I think Patrick Mahomes just gets it. Not a lot of guys gets it. So he gets it from both sides, and I think that's just, his leadership coming on. You drop 2 games, the world is talking crazy. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, it looked a little bad, but I know it could be better with the guys that we actually work with, and having those packages and having those situational football. You having situational football along with your healthy guys coming back and actually making plays, not just being back. We've seen how these guys affect the game, so um, never had no doubt in the defense. We was in a group chat talking about that at halftime. I'm like, he's just filling them out right now. They go on a shutout in the second half. Patrick Mahomes just doing what Patrick Mahomes does. It was to a lesser degree over the years, and I think he got that regressed title from some people. But Patrick Mahomes has been the best player in the world for a long time, and obviously when you get your guys back, that's going to be more on display. Still a bit questionable about some stuff that Spags is doing in the first half, especially against um, guys who aren't labeled as starting quarterbacks in the NFL. But it was a different look for those guys to answer the page in the second half. I thought we played great, but I'm not surprised about where we are at all.
Yeah, knowing that Jane Daniels wasn't playing, unfortunately, was kind of a bummer, because I was kind of looking forward to that matchup from the beginning of the year. And I hope Jane a speedy recovery. And then, like, after the game today, Terry McLaurin also re-injured his quad. So we were losing players left and right too. And it was disappointing from that aspect. So I kind of had the mindset of, we're gonna get the job done no matter what, even if it's close or even if it's a blowout. And if you just look at the second half stats, Mahomes was 17 of 19 for 210 yards and 3 touchdowns, one a perfect passer rating, basically. And then on the defensive side, the Chiefs only allowed 6 completions for 58 yards passing, which is a testament to how they really got after it. And second half adjustments are the reason why great teams end up being great teams. And you could just tell that the team really took what happened in the first half internally, made the adjustments, and just did what they've been doing for the past 5 weeks. So, it's
Yeah,
hard.
one of them was a great throw. Like it was a great throw by Marcus Mariota on what was basically perfect man coverage. So you really can't do too much about that. But yeah, the second half again, this was another one of those tale of two halves sort of deals, like the Giants game was, where you've got a first half where it just kind of looks like not a whole lot's going right, and then as soon as they get out of halftime, they're looking like the team we all expect them to look like for 4 quarters. So those things can happen, especially when you're playing a team that needed inspired football and gave it to them for at least a half. So, I think it's still a good win. I know it's I know he wound up being against the backup quarterback in the end, but it's a guy who's got all the receivers that they expected to have, a defense that has struggled throughout the year, and once they were able to figure out what it was they were doing well, they were able to take that away, and then the second half wasn't even close from a statistical perspective. So I think that's good for them. That's a good way to realize that they can bounce back. That's not going to be a problem, because this week is going to be honestly probably more of the same. This is a Buffalo defense that has been very up and down, depending upon who they've played throughout the season. They just lost arguably their best pass rusher for an extended period of time, but they're also statistically the best defensive line at getting pressure in the NFL through 8 weeks. So even without him and only playing 2 games. So I think this is going to be another great test for them. Trey Smith was back at practice today, and it looks like if he continues trending in the right direction, he'll be back. And it's sounding like we're going to have Jalen Moore for at least one more week at left tackle. So when the Josh Simmons news first came out, this was a game that I was like, well, I don't know how this is going to go with a backup left tackle. But now that he's played 3-4 games, I'm a lot less concerned about that than I would have been if this was just like his first or second game. So they're tested at this point, and I think if Trey Smith's 100% and good to go, this should be a really interesting battle up in Orchard Park in the trenches.
How's it going, Corey?
Pretty good. How about y'all?
What's up, Corey?
Good. What did you think about the game on Monday night?
I mean, I like the way the defense bounced back in the second half and was able to limit Mariota's legs and the secondary tight end. Now, it kind of worries me. Buffalo has a good set of tight ends in Kincaid and Knox. And the only big plays they really had besides the great catch by Scary Terry was their tight ends getting open, blocking, and then leaking out. And then their running back, McNichols. So if we can find a way to cut out that underneath stuff, I think we'll be fine. But after watching the way McNichols in the passing game ran all over us, has me a little worried about what Cook might do in the passing game against us if they do a couple screens to him. We just need that. We need to have somebody close to the line of scrimmage. I think we were just trying, like he said, they had all their receivers. That was really the main threat going into the game. I think we focused on that. They came into the game attacking everything underneath, and we adjusted to it. I think we need to start the game kind of the way we played the second half last game, with making sure we take away the underneath.
I'm interested to see, because the way that the Bills have just kind of been an offense for the past couple of years has been kind of huge run heavy. And then if Josh needs to pass for desperation, like deep throws, then they go that well. So if we do kind of limit those swing passes and checkdowns, I think we can really see if Keon Coleman really is better than Xavier Worthy.
Yeah,
as they constantly tell us.
no, he's nothing. He's nothing.
Right.
He's never better than Xavier Worthy. I don't care what team you would have played on. But we touching on the Buffalo game. I mean, I think no matter if they're shooting out there or not, I don't think their defense has been as competitive. Maybe the other defensive we've played against in Buffalo, but Josh Allen is sitting on the other side of the football, and that guy's going to make plays. So that's always, always respect to the Buffalo fans. But I think this year in particular, it's like this thing that people have when they say, "Oh, well, we can't beat the Bills in the playoffs if we beat them in the regular season," or don't let the Chiefs win this time so we can get them in the playoffs. Like I don't think people like really understand like there is no way like for you to go in and like physically like obstruct football. Like these two guys want to beat each other. And I think this game comes down to coaching. And I think situationally, we got two of the best in the game. And I think as much as we have the players in the room, I think you have to have guys that can also put it together. You got to be able to put the band together. You can get out there and have some star pieces, but you got to know how it flows. And I think having a guy like Andy Reid, who's an experienced offensive coach, and we know his resume, I think Sean McDermott is a great defensive guy, defensive minded guy that's trying to lead a team with a great quarterback. So I think just having a chess match on both sides of the ball, even with Joe Brady and Spags, I think that's just where the battles are won at. Sometimes, like when you get guys on that certain level, it's definitely about the X's and O's. So I don't think it's because Buffalo is a lesser team or this guy's not playing or this guy's hurt. Both had guys out in matchups, where we had key guys out. The game still came down to the wire. So it'll come down to the wire. I just think that we have the better play callers, and I think we have the better situational guys, and I think that'll actually give us the edge. Not speaking on some of the things, but as good as their rushing attack is, I think they lack a more of a balance than what they're used to, especially at this point in the season. I know that they usually kind of get a little sluggish in October, then they hit November and December on high cylinders. But I think just in this time particular, I think that the way that the Chiefs offense is playing, it's going to be a lot of pressure, to play a dang near perfect game because Patrick Mahomes is going to do what he got to do. So I'm really excited to see those two go at it again. But ultimately, I think what we have on both sides, especially when it comes to the X and O thing, that I think we're above the spectrum in that. I think we're the best in the league with situational guys, and hopefully we can take advantage of that on Sunday.
I think scheme wise, we come in with a little bit of an advantage because over the years we've seen everybody on that roster. We've played against them. I don't think they've played against us when we had Rasheed Rice a full set of snaps, really.
Yeah, he only played in like 2 games against Buffalo. He didn't play in the game last year. He was hurt.
Yeah, he played 2 years ago in the regular season game, but that was still when he was barely playing. And then in the playoffs, but I mean, he's still a completely different animal right now than he was 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think how they choose to attack us in the run game is going to be important for this game because they're one of the teams that likes to use multiple tight end sets more than extra offensive linemen to run the football, and that was giving the Chiefs a lot of trouble through a good portion of the Commanders game. They did make some adjustments by actually attacking downhill instead of waiting for blocks to get to them to try to shed them in the run game. So I think that's going to be an important thing because James Cook is very clearly one of the best overall backs in the league right now, and Josh Allen knows how to find rushing lanes. So I think that's going to be where the battle is. The thing is going to be ultimately won or lost is how well they can limit their ability to go off tackle. I think if they have to go between the tackles, I think we'll be fine, especially now that big Mike Pinnell's back. I guess the run defense should be fine.
I was about to say
that's cool. I guess. Look, I'm not going to say it's not going to help, but with the trade deadline coming up, I'd like to see a little bit more on that regard. That's another conversation. But
I think they'll address.
I think they'll address it.
Defense.
I just think it's not going to happen before this game. So in the context of this game, I think that should help. And I think they're going to have to try to beat us off tackle, which means guys are going to have to really be disciplined in their rush lanes, be disciplined in what their eyes are telling them in the backfield. So I think it's going to be another game where the linebackers are going to be extremely important. And with how many 3 linebacker sets we run, they're really going to have to make sure they're not caught up in the play action game, because that's pretty much where the Buffalo passing attack is coming from these days, is play action, because the receivers just aren't getting separation, whether that's because the scheme isn't working, whether that's because their receivers just don't have separating ability, which is more so a indictment on guys like Coleman more than Shakir. I think that's more of a scheme thing, but there are no big plays happening in the passing game for this Buffalo offense. If there are, it's because somebody's getting fooled on play action. So I think the big key here is we need to make sure that the underneath game, like Trizzy said, is taken care of. They have to make sure that they're not getting fooled on play action looks. They have to make sure that James Cook and Josh Allen are as contained as possible and keep them forced into these 3rd and medium plus situations. So that way Josh Allen has to make a play downfield. Somebody has to try and get open. And I think that really hasn't happened for them down the field this season. So if we can force them into those situations, that's advantage to us. And there could be some plays to be had where this defense can, for a change, get some turnovers, because that's also something that prior to really this week has been a little bit lacking lately, but it's more so in the turnover on downs than has been actual turnovers lately. So I think that's going to be the big thing, is you got to contain the run game and force them to have to make plays. Someone's got to win downfield.
I think Cook is going to have a big game. I know Buffalo has been, when they're successful running, a lot of it's been to the outside, some of those outside zone runs where you try to spread it out and get a cutback lane. And I've noticed when we're playing against the run, our linebackers are kind of taking the blocks and Cook is kind of shooting the gaps. Now, that's where I've seen that he's improved a lot this year. His tackling is being able to diagnose, maintain his lane, and shoot a gap. I think this is going to be a big game for him, because I'd say Cook's probably the most athletic and shifty out of the running backs that we've faced so far.
For sure. One of the downsides of this past game is that Isaiah Pacheco, who I feel like has gotten a little bit better as this season's gone on. I know the carries aren't there, but when he's running effective enough for our running offense to be there. He tweaked his knee on Monday night, and today he wasn't an active participant, as well as Hollywood Brown, who had an illness. But now the question is about who's going to be the running back. I think Kareem Hunt's going to be our starter, but do we activate Elijah Mitchell? Are we going to see more Brashard Smith in the running game? Are we going to see maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire suit up and be that 3rd running back? I'm kind of interested to see what happens. But if you saw today, a certain Jets running back did a cheeky tweet today about a guy eating. So
I love cryptic tweet season. It's the best time. It's the best time of the year. But to the point of internal options, I think they just go ahead and activate Mitchell and have him be running back 3 finally for the first time this season. If you believe a word that Andy says in his press conferences, apparently he's healthy now and wasn't really earlier in the season. So that leads me to believe that if he's correct, then it's probably going to be him, just because he's been here longer than, I know Clyde knows the system, but he's been here and he's been available. So I think, and he's been on the active roster this entire time. So I think they'll just have him man running back 3. And I think you'll see more Brashard Smith snaps. I think They'll let him back up Kareem, and you may actually see him get 15, 12, 15 touches. Go ahead and I think we're at the point in the season where you can start looking at opening up the playbook more for him, especially if Trey Smith's back. If Trey Smith's back at right guard, I think you can definitely let him run the football more than you really have been so far this season. I think he's earned that right. I think as the season's gone along, he looks more and more comfortable. And every time he gets the ball in his hands, something good happens. Penalties notwithstanding when big runs get taken away. But hey, that happens. But yeah, I think it'll be Kareem, obviously, getting the bulk of the carries. I think you'll see Brashard Smith uptick in opportunities. And for me, I would just activate Elijah Mitchell, and we'll see Pop after the bye.
Yeah, well, I've already kind of shared my thoughts on what I thought Brashad Smith would bring to the offense earlier on, but just to reiterate, he's just another guy that's special with the ball in his hands, and people could, kind of say what they wanted to about Kadarius Toney during his time here, but when he had the ball in his hands, he was special. That's why we started liking him um, until he started messing up. But I think Brashad Smith being a rookie in his role and kind of understanding and like getting his reps up and getting his snaps up, getting his feel for the game. I think he's just a home run hitter, just a bomb waiting to go off. Like once he gets really rolling, like he's really gonna take the offense to the screen game with the running backs and doing the setup routes with the man on man with a linebacker. He's gonna be the guy that's gonna be taking advantage of those guys because he just had that skill set at the running back position. So I'm looking forward to what Rashard Smith can bring to this game, especially with some of their linebackers struggling. I do like their defensive line though; those guys do get after the pass really good. So Pat's gonna have to move a little bit. Like so, it'd be great to have Trey Smith back for this game for sure, just for running and passing concepts. And obviously, Jalen Moore's been doing a great job at left tackle, but we much rather would prefer the rookie, which respect to whatever he's going through. I hope everything's good with him. But yeah, just kind of reiterating what I think. I think the offense has been great. I thought the play calling was there all along. I just thought that we were missing pieces, like I shared on on this show. Um, I could see the play calling, I could see the concepts coming together, but when you got everything cooking, and I think the running game hasn't been terrible. I just think that people are wanting it to be elite for some reason. Like we don't pay Patrick Mahomes 500 mil, whatever we pay him, for him to come out and hand the ball off 30 20. That's not happening. We just need a guy to be efficient. We need a guy to be consistent. And we've seen that by committee. All those guys hadn't just been killing. I think they've been consistent enough for the run game to actually be a threat because they all bring different things. Whether that's Pop running hard through the pads, Kareem is a more finesse, smooth runner who can get to the ground. Not really an outside guy. Pop is going, smash between the tackles. And then you get to bring in a guy like Brashard Smith, who has a skill set of a running back and a receiver, a guy that can run between the tackles and also line up outside. So I think, just getting him more comfortable and obviously down the line, you want to see spurts of it. And I think we have seen some good things from him just coming up. And I think, just him being in that playmaker kind of role for us again, because his role is really undefined as far as his running back, receiver. Like he's a running back, but his skill set just allows him to be a ball player in our offense, a guy that we can get the ball to. They use him to scheme stuff up already, because defenses are scared of him. So I'm really excited for that aspect of it. I know what Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey is. People telling him to get off the team. I remember the conversations. How do you guys feel now? I'm just, talking to not nobody on here, but a few Chiefs fans that I know watching.
We're talking
Um,
about Travis.
yeah, telling Travis to retire has been nothing but great this season. Shout out to having Ford back, man. You can't say enough about that kid. I'm excited for his future here. I hope he continues to just stay healthy, and I don't think there's anybody that's going to be able to slow us down once we continue to rely on guys like him. We know what Worthy brings to the offense. He's been consistent when guys have been out. He's having to step in the receiver one roles, go back outside, play his role in the wildcat. Just him being such a dangerous weapon, I think those guys all present different problems. And I would think that you would see a little bit more Tyquan Thornton. Those guys like the man coverage. You want to get some guys who can make that speed a little bit. I ain't gonna say as a hurt for them, but you want to make them aware of that speed. And I think bringing Tyquan back into the lineup will obviously help us with that. And just getting those guys open in space. I think this is another masterclass from Patrick Mahomes. He's just been that good this season, and I think having the guys, having Trey Smith back, and getting some guys, maybe we'll see what happens with these trades going on. But I really like where the Chiefs team is at, man, and I know they're going to continue to get better. We just definitely need a little bit of help on that D line, and a Brees Hall wouldn't hurt, but I would rather see that on the defensive side because those guys have been special and they've been playing like it these last 3-4 weeks, shutting the Lions explosive Lions offense down, shut the Ravens down when Lamar Jackson was there. Um, Guys haven't really had great games as running backs. They haven't really done anything. They shut some real good guys out, Jameer Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, just to name a few. For those defense to have that under their belt, I think they're going to continue to get better. I think we just need to do what we can to get those guys comfortable. Welcome back, Mike Pennell, man.
100%.
They haven't
Real
given
quick,
up a
Richard.
100-yard rusher in over 30 games to a running back. Quarterback, the only one they have is Lamar Jackson. That's it. So,
real quick, Trizzy mentioned number 87. I think we need to really dive deep into how special this game was for him. Obviously, it didn't start out great with bobbling a pass up for an interception, but what he did after that was truly special. I think 6 catches, 99 yards, touchdown. History. He is now tied Priest Holmes for most touchdowns in Chiefs history. Context, though, Priest Holmes did that record in 4.5 seasons compared to Travis's how many at this point? Which is insane.
Yeah, 180. What is it? 82.
83 apiece.
83, and I think that was his 180th or so game, and Priest Holmes did it in like 63. So, yeah.
Priest Holmes back.
Man, if you didn't get to see Priest Holmes, I'm
insane.
sorry. Yeah, if you didn't get to see Priest Holmes, I'm sorry. But
If you didn't get to see Travis Kelce, I'm sorry.
well, yeah, that too. But man, that doesn't tell you how good Priest Holmes was back in the day.
Jamal Charles, Larry Johnson. We've seen some good running backs come through here. Tony Gonzalez.
Ooh, yeah.
But Travis Kelce, man, you can't say enough about him, man. I don't care what nobody say. We ride that. I hope he re-signed. I don't know like what people looking at, but outside the drops, which mistakes will happen top to bottom. But 87,
let me tell you how great of a season Travis is having right now. So I mentioned it earlier. Travis is second in receiving yards for tight ends. Tyler Warren only has 18 more yards. He's above Tucker Kraft. He's above Trey McBride. He's above Aronde Gadsden.
all the guys that they tell me
all those guys.
Travis Kelce all the time.
But the astounding thing is Travis is 36 years old. Tyler Warren's 23. Tucker Kraft is 24. Trey McBride is 25. And Gadsden is 22. So
isn't he also like top 20 in Yak? Isn't he also top 20 in the entire league in Yak, which is insane?
The 36-year-old is playing just as well, if not better, than some of these young guns. And, I know the offseason was huge for Travis. He emphasized it. I know there was all this talk about, he lost 20 pounds, but he didn't really say that. It's just a rumor. But you can tell he's back at it, man. I'm really excited that he's playing at this level. I know last year was a lot for him, especially with all the extracurriculars he was dealing with. And, I know he really wanted to get that dub for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but I'm glad to have him still. He's most likely going to break that record. He's most likely in the playoffs going to break Jerry Rice's record. It's great to have Kelce back and Kelce running, and with Rasheed and with Xavier fully healthy, he can truly shine once more and not be as bottled up as he was last year. And even though he was bottled up last year, he was still like 850 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he's still really good.
Try to tell you, man. Try to
Which I
tell you.
think he's on pace. Is he on pace for another 1,000-yard season, which would be absolutely insane at 36? I don't know.
I mean, he's at
I'd have to extrapolate
400.
those numbers, but
He's at 474 yards, so he only needs 526, and there's 9 games left.
probably can get there.
You can
I don't know,
just
man.
if
But
you get
all I
60
know
yards a
is,
game, it's over.
Yeah, you can get there.
all I
And he's-
know is when they was talking that Travis Kelsey crazy stuff, I went and put a nice little one on Travis Kelsey over 1,000 this year. So best looking like it's gonna clear, baby.
I mean, I feel like
I will say,
feel like
yeah,
based off the schedule that they're gonna play that final week 18th game, based on
I really can't wait till
seeding.
we play the Broncos, but
But-
we got the Bills, so
yeah, that comes in a couple weeks. Don't worry, we're gonna get to them.
I
But
hate the Broncos so much. I hate the Broncos more than I hate the Bills. And I've grown a strong hate. I still hate the Bills. Don't get me wrong. All the Bills fans watching this, good game. I know it's going to be a good game. I hate you. Okay. And anybody else, like especially the Chargers, the Raiders, but the Broncos, I'm tired of the Broncos, man. I can't wait till we play them again. I don't want to hear Pat Surtain being out. He better figure it out. He better be in the game. Because I don't want to hear it, man. I'm tired of this. Man. Anyway,
we'll get to
Buffalo,
them. Don't worry, it's coming.
Buffalo, yeah, man. Josh Allen is always gonna be a guy that you have to worry about. He's like Pat Mahomes to me. Pat Mahomes is one. I think Josh Allen is like a, skip over the pond, swim down the lake. Then he's number two. You can say what you want to. I don't really care. But I think Patrick Mahomes is above all. And I think Josh Allen is really, making a case for him to just be as great as he is. He's carried that Buffalo team on his back basically this year. They don't, have a lot of guys that I feel like are versatile. I think they do have a sneaky good guy with Palmer, and I think Keon Coleman can have his moments. I think the tight ends are great. Obviously, the offensive line is great. James Cook is amazing. So our hands will be full all game. This is not no, I'll just come in there and whoop on them. I think we are going to have to execute against these guys. It's a very talented football team who have championship aspirations as well. So um, I don't know if every year is like this year, and but I do know that we play them on Sunday, and it'd be great to get a win. I don't care about we beat them now and the playoffs is a bad jinx. I don't believe in that. Like the best teams win in playoff football. Believe it or not, that's just how football playoff goes. I mean, playoff football goes. So I don't understand that, but I'm looking forward to the challenge. To see how they play out. But with the way that this team is just putting things together, kind of thought they was gonna be able to start putting stuff together. But it's glad to actually see it happening slowly but surely. Defense getting better, making plays, making adjustments, offense executing, getting those fourth down calls. We not used to Andy Reid going forward on a lot of fourth downs. But with Harrison Bucker, missing some kickers early, and just him relying on Patrick Mahomes, relying on the leader of the team, relying on guys to make plays constantly and constantly and constantly. I don't think he's ever went for it on like a 4th and 7 or something like that. He's pretty smart with that. But to trust these guys in short yardage situations, we've been nothing but good situationally this year. That's why I said, just having that advantage going on in the road, a tough crowd in Buffalo. Mike Pennell will be back. It'd be good to have a guy like that back, fire the guys up. We'll see what's going on with Nick Bolton. I've seen some stuff that about his knee being a little tweaked. So that's something to keep an eye on for this game because we need Nick Bolton for this game for sure. And that would concern me if we didn't have 32 for real. And I know Patrick Mahomes had to put up the points, but looking forward to the challenge. Another great team on the road. It's going to be loud at Orchard Park. But I'm expecting our guys to come with it. I know that they're looking forward to the challenge. And I know that, we haven't won in Orchard Park since we beat them in the playoffs. So we haven't done it in the regular season for a while. So it'd be great to come out Sunday with a win, continue to roll into a great bye week as we get ready, for those boys up in Denver. So it'll be great to get that on our belt going on to this road trip because I think we played 3 good teams on the road. So obviously this is a game where you want to come out and play well and make a statement and let the rest of the guys know that's coming next that this ain't going to be no This ain't going to be no joke that we coming with. I think the boys understand that. So it's always great when we got great teams in front of us.
Now, we'll say if you're a betting person, if Josh Allen's longest run is somewhere around 13 to 15 yards, which is what it usually is, I definitely bet the over because he always finds a way to pull off like 125, 30-yard run against us every game.
Yeah, that's how they ended the last game in the regular season in Orchard
Yeah.
Park. I mean, this game, then the bye, and then we take on the Broncos, we take on the Colts, which is sneaky hot, and then we're on Thanksgiving. So this is going to be a great test, I think. I think some key players for this game are Rashard Smith, like we mentioned earlier. I think just unlocking the screen game even more. I know this past game didn't really need to utilize him that much in the screen game, but I think Rashard's going to have a really good game. I wouldn't be surprised if he had more than 30, 40 yards out of the backfield and then 30, 40 yards receiving. So I wouldn't be surprised about that. And then in terms of defense, I mean, give me Noel Williams. I hope he gets way more snaps, and I hope he just locks it down like he's been doing it. Those are my two key players for this game. Now, granted, they might not even be used that much, but I think those guys could really make a huge impacts on Sunday in Orchard Park, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose two players, I'm going to stick with both on offense. I think it's going to be Xavier Worthy and Tyquan Thornton for this game specifically. I think I think Tyquan's going to play more on Sunday because I'm going to be honest. I'm expecting a lot more man coverage out of the Bills for this game because Patrick Mahomes has absolutely annihilated zone coverage for pretty much the entire season. Like there has not been a team that has really stopped him so far this year in zone coverage, and that has especially been the case since Rashee Rice has been back. So I think really it's where you're going to see them try to man up as much as they can because they want to maximize their D-line. Even though Ed Oliver's out, they still are really good at getting pressure. So I think they're really going to try to see if they can hang with all of these receivers. So I think Tyquan Thornton and Xavier Worthy are going to have to be able to beat man coverage. And I think that could ultimately be the key to this game on the offensive side is how much can we exploit the fact that their defense has not been great stopping the run and the fact that we as an offense have been really, really good against zone coverage. So we should expect to see a lot more man.
I'll probably go. Well, I'm not gonna probably go. Defensively, I think you were kind of hitting a little earlier on with Noah Williams. I want to see more of him. That kid has been absolutely excellent. I think the secondary is going to be big for us. I think the front guys always come to play, but it's going to be a challenge for those guys this Sunday. The back end is going to have to play well for us to kind of make Josh Allen just hold it a little bit longer. Um, I'm expecting a great game, but I think the secondary as a whole just has to be good this game, which they have been. I think the front five, front four on defense, so that whole front seven, including the secondary, just have to be a little bit better in certain situations because they got a great offensive line, and they're going to try to scheme up a lot for James Cook and get the ball in his hands as much as he can. Which, if anybody's offensive coordinator, is probably not a bad idea. But we just got to be mindful of those tight end leaks. So I think having those third and short situations aren't favorable. I like to see him at 36, 37. And then offensively, I think just as a unit, you just see the guys execute. I don't think it's about matchups or zone or man. I think we'll see both. You'll be crazy to go all man, all game against man and Patrick Mahomes. You'll be crazy to go all game long zone. I think we'll see a mixture of both. I just think about the execution part of it, executing on third downs. If you're gonna go for it on fourth downs, make sure we're converting. Spread the ball around like Patrick Mahomes has been doing. He's been playing great, so I would just say offensively, just as a cohesion, just for those guys to be consistent. I would like to see that. I ain't gonna call an individual number. I think everybody's been playing well. Everybody's been playing their role. Everybody's been touching the ball and making plays. Everybody got to eat. So let's stick to that motto. Everybody get down and do their business, and I think we'll be successful at the end of it if everybody comes out and ready to compete.
I'm going to go 2 on defense. I'm going to go, I touched on him earlier, Cook being able to play downhill and shoot gaps and kind of stop the outside run. The other one is going to be Leo. Leo is going to have to show his versatility going sideline to sideline, being able to track down Josh Allen with his legs, being able to track down Cook at the sideline. He's going to have to show that versatility and why he's different than the other linebackers we have and be able to play sideline to sideline all game long, because not only will the Bills stretch the field vertically if they can, they will stretch it from sideline to sideline. They'll run a play going towards one direction. Allen will roll out to the other sideline, take off for 20 yards. We're going to need that extra speed. I think Leo's going to be playing pretty much every snap in this game, and we're going to need him and Cook be able to play downhill, track the play, not over pursue. A lot of James Cook big runs are they'll pound it outside, and then they'll hesitate and find a cutback lane. Somebody will over pursue, and then he's got a 30-yard gain until he gets to the safeties.
Yeah, Brian Cook is having a good year, just like you're saying. And Leo Chanel, I mean, he's probably the most underrated linebacker in probably the league. No one talks about him enough. So I'm excited for the task at hand for the defense specifically. Josh Allen's no joke. Just like Trizzy said, he's one of those guys. And, this is the Bills Super Bowl every year, regular season game where they play the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's going to be an exciting atmosphere. I'm excited for the guys to really show up and prove why they're the best team in the league, like they've been proven for the past couple of weeks. So I'm kind of leaning a bigger margin of victory than I probably would in the past. I think this could be a 10-point victory where they have a field goal lead and then they just keep scoring, and then possibly Buffalo trying to match that. So I'm going to go with a 34-24 victory for Kansas City. I think this team and the way they've been playing both offensively and defensively, they have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense probably for the first time in the Mahomes era, and they're playing really well situationally now. I mean, I think this could spell a very good victory. I think 34-24 Kansas City.
I hate doing these, especially early in the season, because you never know if something could change it to alter it. The line is currently -2, depending on your sports book for Kansas City, which is really, really rare considering how good Buffalo usually is at home. I just can't predict it being anything more than 7 points, just because of how close these games have been over the past few years. I think the last time it was a double-digit win for either side was a couple years ago.
2021 in Arrowhead,
2021.
Buffalo dominated that game.
Yeah, like I don't see it being more than 7 points. I honestly have it being something along the lines of 30-27. There's always something that's going to be weird that's going to happen, that where Buffalo will get a touchdown that nobody expected was going to happen, and it's going to make it closer than people would think. So I think it's something along the lines of a 30-27 or a 28-24. Like, I don't think it's going to be much more than that, just because even though this defense for Buffalo has been kind of up and down, they have been able to be very opportunistic with turnovers. So I think it's going to be somewhere around that. I just don't see it being a 2-score game this time around.
Yeah, I'm kind of on track with you. I don't. Every time we play them, no matter who's missing, who's playing well, they've had top 10 defensive, top 10 offenses. Those games came down to the wire. I think the same situation for us. We're playing against Buffalo and Buffalo. Um, I would give them the edge, but after seeing, just with them being at home, but I think just kind of what I'm seeing from this Chiefs team, like I said, I don't think we possibly have the possibility to not lose again until we rest guys. I think that's how good we are right now. With guys getting healthier. Obviously, we want to see a little bit more from the pass rush. I think the run defense has been well. I think the defense has been playing well as a cohesion, not just a couple of guys. I think everybody's been playing well. Guys like Leo, guys like Drew had his moments here and there, but he's made plays. Nick Bolton's been excellent this year. Definitely looking like he's worth that money that we paid. Um, can't say enough about Trent McDuffie. Even after he gives up some catches, his presence is just felt. I think he'll have a sack fumble this year. I mean, this game too. I think we'll see a little bit more Noah outside and allowing Trent McDuffie to be a little bit more matched up with Shakir in the slot. And I think that's where we'll see a sack fumble. I'm predicting that from Trent McDuffie. I might go ahead and book that in my book next week or today. Today I might do it today. Next week too late. But I think having that defense, playing like that, and having the offense just being able to continue to take drives. Like last year, we would go 11 plays, 60 yards, field goal. This year, we going 6 plays, 80 yards, touchdown. 5 plays, 70 yards, touchdown. We're finding our moments, those little moments in the game where Patrick Mahomes makes a play here, there, Xavier makes a play. Having Rasheed back, I think, is going to be key in this game. Go to that kid early. Make them make a decision about him. Because the more they make decisions about Rasheed Rice, the easier it becomes for Travis Kelsey. The more they make decisions about Xavier Worthy, the easier it becomes for Travis Kelsey. Having him to be able to be matched up and schemed up with his mind on the outside, just keep going back to him, letting the offense flow. I think they've done a great job with the play calling being situational. I wouldn't expect that to change. So I got us, I'd say 27-23. Chiefs win by 4.
I'm going to go 31-24 Kansas City.
All right. So, guys, tune into the game on Sunday against the Bills in Orchard Park. I think it's at 3:25 Central Standard Time. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today on X, on YouTube, listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. We'll see you guys next week, Wednesday. Have fun on Sunday, and let's get a win for Kansas City. Go Chiefs!